The 7th Infantry Regiment is an infantry regiment in the United States Army. In its 200-year history, it has participated in 12 wars, been awarded 76 campaign streamers, and 14 unit decorations. The regiment has served in more campaigns than any other infantry unit in the United States Army. It is known as the Cottonbalers, from an incident that occurred during the Battle of New Orleans, while under the command of Andrew Jackson, when soldiers of the 7th Infantry Regiment held positions behind a breastwork of bales of cotton during the British attack. Lineage. The regiment's official lineage is as follows: constituted the 11th of January 1812 in the regular army as the 8th Infantry, organized in 1812 in Tennessee, Georgia, and the adjacent territories, consolidated May to October 1815 with the 24th Infantry and the 39th Infantry to form the 7th Infantry, consolidated May to June 1869 with the 36th Infantry and consolidated unit designated as the 7th Infantry, assigned the 21st of November 1917 to the 3rd Division, relieved the 1st of July 1957 from assignment to the 3rd Infantry Division and reorganized as a parent regiment under the Combat Arms Regimental System, withdrawn the 16th of December 1987 from the Combat Arms Regimental System and reorganized under the United States Army Regimental System. Annex constituted the 3rd of May 1861 in the regular army as the 3D Battalion, 18th Infantry. Organized the 16th of October 1861 at Camp Thomas, Ohio, reorganized and redesignated the 26th of December 1866 as the 36th Infantry, consolidated May to June 1869 with the 7th Infantry and consolidated unit designated as the 7th Infantry. Coat of arms blazon, shield, for Sergeant and azure, a fess embattled to chief, a mason sable between in chief, of field gun gills on a Mount Verton in base, 3 bendlets sinister of the First Crest, on a wreath of the colors, a cotton bale argent banded sable in front of the 2 bayonets in saltire or motto, VOLENSETPOTENS. Symbolism Shield. The shield is white and blue, the old and present infantry colors. The field gun is for the Battle of Cerro Gordo, where the 7th participated in the decisive attack by an assault on Telegraph Hill, a strongly fortified point. This portion of the shield is in Mexican colors, red, white and green. The wall is for the Battle of Fredericksburg, in which the regiment held for 12 hours a position only 80 yards in front of a stone wall, protecting the enemy. The base alludes to the shoulder sleeve insignia of the 3D Division with which the 7th Infantry served during World War I. Crest. The cotton bale and bayonets in the crest are taken from the arms of the 7th Infantry adopted in 1912. Background. The coat of arms was originally approved on the 5th of July 1921. It was amended on the 15th of October 1923 to add a new crest. Campaign credits: War of 1812, Canada, New Orleans, Florida 1814, Louisiana 1815, Mexican War, Monterrey, Veracruz, Cerro Gordo, Contreras, Cherubasco, Molino del Rey, Chapultepec, Texas 1846, Civil War, Fredericksburg, Murfreesboro, Chancellorsville, Gettysburg, Chickamauga, Chattanooga, Atlanta, New Mexico 1861, New Mexico 1862, Kentucky 1862, Mississippi 1862, Tennessee 1862, Tennessee 1863, Georgia 1864, Indian Wars, Creeks, Seminoles, New Mexico 1860, Wyoming 1866, Montana 1872, Little Bighorn, Nez Perces, Utes, Pine Ridge War with Spain, Santiago Philippine-American War, Sama 1901, Sama 1902, World War I. Aisne, Champagne-Marne, Aisne-Marne, Saint, Mihiel, Meuse-Argonne, Champagne 1918, Ile-de-France 1918, World War II, Algeria, French Morocco, Tunisia, Sicily, Naples, Foggia, Anzio, Romano, Southern France, Rhineland, Ardennes, Alsace, Central Europe, Korean War, CCF intervention, First UN counter-offensive, CCF spring offensive, UN summer-fall offensive, Second Korean winter, Korea, summer-fall 1952, Third Korean winter, Korea, summer 1953, Vietnam, counter-offensive, Phase 2, counter-offensive, Phase 3, Tet counter-offensive, Phase 4, counter-offensive, Phase 5, counter-offensive, Phase 6, Tet 69, counter-offensive, summer-fall 1969, winter-spring 1970, Sanctuary counter-offensive, Phase 7, Southwest Asia, defensive Saudi Arabia, liberation and defense of Kuwait, ceasefire Iraq campaign, Afghanistan campaign. History. The 7th Infantry Regiment was originally constituted on the 11th of January 1812 in the regular army as a company of the 8th Infantry, was reorganized in preparation for the conflict with Great Britain which came to be known as the War of 1812. Since that time it has remained on duty in one form or another, making it one of the 5 oldest continuously serving regiments in the United States Army. American Civil War. The regiment won 14 campaign streamers for actions during the Civil War. Spanish-American War. The 7th Infantry Regiment fought at El Caney and San Juan Hill. World War I. The regiment has been associated with the 3rd Infantry Division since that unit was established in World War I. The unit is credited with participation in the Aisne Defensive, the Battle of Château Thierry, the defense of the Champagne-Marne region and the attacks at Aisne-Marne, Meuse-Argonne, and Saint-Mihiel. World War II. During World War II, the regiment fought German forces on 3 fronts: North Africa, Italy, and Northwest Europe. It conducted 4 amphibious landings against beach defenses, earning a Spearhead device on the streamers awarded for these battles. In 1942, the regiment conducted an amphibious landing in Morocco. In July 1943, the regiment made an amphibious assault on Sicily. In 1944, it landed at Anzio, conducted a breakout and drove towards Rome. In August 1944, the regiment landed again, this time in southern France as part of Operation Dragoon, advancing up the Rhône River to the German frontier. After fighting in the Vosges and in the Alsace at the Cottonbalers pocket, the 7th crossed the Rhine into Germany. Taking part in the seizure of Munich, it headed for Austria, reaching the Salzburg area in the waning days of the war. According to a HistoryNet article published in its World War II magazine, elements of the regiment serving under the 3rd Infantry Division commanded by Colonel John A. Heintzges had the honor of capturing Hitler's retreat at Berchtesgaden. The same article argues it is quite probable no other regiment in the U.S. Army in World War II exceeded the 7th in combat time. Korean War. After World War II, the 7th Infantry Regiment remained a part of the 3rd Infantry Division. When the Korean War began in June 1950, the 7th Infantry Regiment was located at Fort Devens, Massachusetts. Already at reduced strength, the regiment was further decimated when a battalion from Fort Devens was redesignated as the 3rd Battalion, 8th Cavalry Regiment, and sent to Korea to join the 1st Cavalry Division. The 7th Regiment sailed from San Francisco, California, on the 20th of August 1950, and landed in Japan on the 16th of September 1950. There its strength was augmented by hundreds of KATUSA. 2 months later, the regiment embarked again and landed at Wonsan on Korea's eastern coast on the 21st of November 1950. It joined with the 15th and 65th Infantry Regiments, and moved to the northwest of the Hungnam area where it covered vis-a-vis Task Force Dog from Chinhungni. The Army's 10th Corps forward elements withdrawal from the Chosin Reservoir and joining the perimeter defense for the evacuation of Hungnam during the Chinese Communist Forces intervention. The 7th Regiment was the last unit off of Pink Beach at Hungnam and withdrew by sea on the 24th of December 1950. They moved into position north of Seoul as part of the 8th U.S. Army's defensive line participating in the Chinese Communist Forces' April 1951 spring offensive. During the next 2 years, the regiment supported 3rd Division's combat operations in the Chawon-Kumor area, fought at the Jackson Heights and Arrowhead outposts, and blocked a CCF push in the Kumsong area in July 1953. During 8 campaigns on the Korean battlefield, the elements of the 7th Infantry were awarded Republic of Korea Presidential Unit citations. In addition, the 1st Battalion, 7th Infantry Regiment won a Distinguished Unit citation for its bravery at Choksong, the 2nd Battalion for its bravery at Ko Wang Ni, and the 3rd Battalion for bravery at Seguk. Vietnam era. During the Vietnam War, elements of the regiment were assigned to the 199th Infantry Brigade. Modern era. Presently the regiment consists of mechanized infantry units equipped with the M2 Bradley fighting vehicle, and a light infantry battalion. 1st Battalion, 7th Infantry Regiment and 2nd Battalion, 7th Infantry, Fort Stewart, Georgia. 1st Brigade Combat Team, 3rd Infantry Division, 3rd Battalion, 7th Infantry. In 1973–75 was a maneuver battalion of the 197th Separate Infantry Brigade, then reorganizing and training as the 18th Airborne Corps Heavy Force element. The battalion, continuing to be organized as an infantry battalion in the early phase of the 197 Brigade's reorganization into a separate mechanized infantry brigade, performed a number of important missions for the Army during this period, one of which was the support of the U.S. Army Infantry Board with a detachment of 69 then 49 soldiers from headquarters and A companies to conduct the squad automatic weapons developmental operational tests 1 and 2 for 4 months. Subsequently, the battalion became an element of the 24th Infantry Division, and later the battalion operated as a maneuver battalion of 4th Infantry Brigade. Combat Team, 3rd Infantry Division FD. Stewart, Georgia. The 1st and 2nd Battalions, and as already noted, the 3rd Battalion were assigned to the 24th Mechanized Infantry Division at Fort Stewart, Georgia on 16 December 1987. Elements of all 3 battalions of the 7th Infantry Regiment saw action in the Persian Gulf as part of Operation Desert Storm, Kosovo, and more recently Operation Iraqi Freedom. On 16 February 1996, the battalions were assigned to the 3rd Infantry Division, 1990–91 Gulf War. The 1st Battalion, 7th Infantry Regiment and the 4th Battalion, 7th Infantry Regiment patrolled the Czechoslovakia border with Germany for years in preparation for war with the Soviet Union. They served during Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm, and both battalions of the regiment were to serve in the theatre of operations. The battalions belonged to 3rd Brigade, 3rd Infantry Division. The brigade itself was a roundout brigade for the 1st Armoured Division and served as Old Ironside's lead element. 1st Brigade. The 4th Battalion consisted of 4 companies of the new M2A2 Bradley fighting vehicles, of which 3 companies had some augmented mix of M1 Abrams tanks attached from the brigade's 4th Battalion 66th Armour Regiment. Only Bravo Company 4 7th Black Hawks remained wholly infantry. It was the mission of Bravo Company to conduct urban and trench warfare for the battalion. Several regiment personnel received silver and bronze stars with V devices for their actions during the ground war phase. Both 1 7th and 4 7th participated in the largest tank battle in U.S. history, the Battle of Medina Ridge. The Battle of Medina Ridge was a decisive tank battle fought during the Gulf War on the 27th of February 1991, between the U.S. 1st Armored Division and the entrenched 2nd Brigade of the Iraqi Republican Guard Medina Luminous Division outside Basra. It is estimated more than 5,000 vehicles clashed during this particular engagement. The 1st Armored Division, commanded by Major General Ron Griffith, consisted of some 3,000 vehicles including 348 M1A1 Abrams tanks. The brunt of the fighting at Medina Ridge was conducted by the 3rd Brigade, 3rd Infantry Division, which was the only brigade from the 3rd Infantry Division in the war. The brigade replaced 1st Armored Division's 1st Brigade and was commanded by Colonel James Riley. Medina Ridge was one of the few battles during Desert Storm in which American forces encountered significant Iraqi resistance and found it extremely difficult to advance. During the battle, American forces suffered one fatality due to friendly fire, while destroying 186 Iraqi tanks and 127 armored vehicles. Only 4 Abrams tanks were hit by direct fire and disabled. None were destroyed. Upon returning from Iraq in May 1991, both battalions of the 7th Infantry Regiment and the rest of Phantom Brigade received orders to deactivate and draw down from Aschaffenburg, Germany. During the summer of 1992, 4 7th Infantry Regiment closed its doors at Fiore Kaserne for the last time. Gulf War. During the Gulf War, 2 units of the 7th Infantry Regiment fell in the ranks of 7th Corps. Corps normally command 3 divisions at full strength. However, 7th Corps had far more firepower under its command. 2 7ths and 3 7ths served with the 24th Infantry Division during the First Gulf War, deploying from Fort Stewart, Georgia, as part of the 18th Airborne Corps. 7th Corps' principal combat strength consisted of the following units: U.S. 1st and AMP 3rd Armored Divisions, and U.S. 1st Infantry Division. In addition, the U.S. 2nd Cavalry Regiment, U.S. 1st Cavalry Division, and British 1st Armoured Division, as well as the U.S. 11th Aviation Group were attached for the Operation 2003 present Operation Iraqi Freedom. Both the 2nd and 3rd Battalions of the 7th Infantry Regiment assigned to 1st Brigade, 3rd Infantry Division participated in Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003. During Operation Iraqi Freedom, the regiment's most notable achievements included seizing crossing sites over the Euphrates River and seizing the Iraqi regime's most prized possessions, Baghdad International Airport. They returned to Fort Stewart in September 2003. SFC Paul Ray Smith was the first soldier awarded the Medal of Honor in the Global War on Terror for his actions in Iraq. The 3rd Battalion, 7th Infantry, was reassigned to the 4th Brigade Combat Team, 3rd Infantry Division in 2004, upon the creation of that new unit. Prior to that, the 3 7th Infantry had been assigned to the 1st Brigade, 3rd Infantry Division. This was a product of 3rd Infantry Division transforming to the new modular brigade concept after its return from Iraq in late 2003. 2 7th Infantry remained with the 1st Brigade Combat Team, while 3 7th Infantry joined the new 4th Brigade Combat Team. Delta companies were also established in both 2nd and 3rd Battalions, designated as armor units, and its infantry C companies reorganized under 369R and 464R respectively, while the C companies moved under the infantry battalions to form combat arms battalions. Under transformation, E companies were added from the 11th Engineer Battalion, and forward support companies were added to support the CAB. After a tough train-up period during 2004, the reorganized 2nd and 3rd Battalions, 7th Infantry Regiment deployed to Iraq for Operation Iraqi Freedom 3 with the respective brigade combat teams. 2 to 7 Infantry deployed to Iraq for a second tour in December 2004 until January 2006, to Saddam Hussein's hometown of Tikrit. The 3rd Battalion assumed responsibility of Western Rashid in Baghdad, an area encompassing more than 800,000 Iraqis. The 7th Infantry Regiment's most notable achievement was ensuring the security of over 100 polling sites during 2 Iraqi national elections. In January 2007, 2 to 7 Infantry deployed to Iraq for a third 15-month tour. The unit served in Anbar Province, the largest province in Iraq, under the command and control of multinational forces West. TF 2-7 deployed to hit with Company C-27 in attached to TF 369R in south-central Ramadi. Cold Steel was instrumental with its Iraqi army and police partners in bringing peace and stability to Ramadi during the Anbar Awakening. The 2nd Battalion redeployed in April 2008. In 2007, the 4th Brigade, 3rd Infantry Division was alerted for deployment to Iraq as part of Operation Iraqi Freedom in late 2007. The 4th Brigade, including the 7th Infantry, continued to serve in that country into 2008. In December 2009, 2 to 7 Infantry deployed to Iraq for a fourth time as an Advise and Assist Battalion. BCO 2 to 7 was located south of Baghdad in the town of Mahmudiyah. Operation Enduring Freedom from September 2012 to May 2013. 7th Infantry deployed to numerous locations in some of the most rugged and hostile areas throughout Afghanistan as part of a combined Joint Special Operations Task Force. The battalion returned to Fort Stewart at the end of this deployment. In March 2013, 7th Infantry deployed to Logar Province, Afghanistan as Division Reserve Force at Forward Operating Base Shang. They returned to the stated at the end of the year. Decorations notable members other units called 7th Infantry Regiment. There was a 7th Infantry Regiment raised for the 1798 Quasi-War with France. It was mustered out without seeing active service. Another 7th Infantry Regiment was raised in April 1808, and saw service in the War of 1812. During the 1815 post-war reduction in force, it was consolidated into the 1st Infantry Regiment. It was this regiment that fought at New Orleans in 1815. The official lineage followed the 8th Regiment after the war. Bibliography. John C. McManus, the 7th Infantry Regiment, Combat in an Age of Terror, the Korean War through the Present, New York.